Now, operations in Nigeria's aviation sector is facing one of the toughest situations as they try to keep afloat following the slow recovery, adjusting to the impact of restrictions on movement and also COVID-19 lockdown measures both on the global and local front. Part of current operational challenges are also the issues of gradual halting of some airlines and allied businesses following their inability of the organizations in the sector to access foreign exchange for their daily activities. Now, the scarcity has also led to a depletion of most of the airlines' fleets, which now result in delay and cancellation of flights almost at will. Now, on the black market earlier on Wednesday, a dollar was sold at about 484 naira. And then most businesses had to also buy, especially companies within the aviation sector, have to source for their foreign exchange from any market available at very exorbitant rates in order just to meet up with some of their obligations from equipment manufacturers and their clients and even much more. Well, joining me now via Skype to discuss this development and much more, I have the Chief Executive Officer of Jet Support Services, Chukwuemeka Achim. Good to have you on the Breakfast Show this morning.
Good morning, David.
Now, the integral role of Forex to airlines operation cannot be overemphasized, but access has always been an underlying issue over the years, impeding acquisition processes, payment for orders, spare parts, and overall maintenance. Now, as a player in the industry, what do you make of the nation's Forex regime, and how does this affect the sustainability strategy of airlines in this crucial period where we are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, David, the problem has always been very simple. If you look at the entire cost spectrum of an airline, depending on size and complexity of operations, it ranges between 40 and 60% for Forex. So you have between 40 and 60% of an airline's cost spectrum completely domiciled in foreign exchange, while you have the revenue base of the airline between 80 and 90% in Naira. So anytime you have this devaluation, there is always an irritating effect on the balance sheet. As we know, Nigeria has been challenged with a lot of macroeconomic issues, ranging from devaluation, inflation, and scarcity of dollars. So the airlines are also, banking on the petrodollars in order to be able to finance the operations, and this has had a very huge impact on the financial structure of an airline.
And now, talking about devaluation of the naira, like you've rightly mentioned, this is a major concern. How then do we now translate the poor performance of the naira to the ticketing cost, airfares in general? Because we see prices are going much higher. The surge is quite the reality on ground as we speak.
Yeah, like I said, the uptick in ticket prices is solely down to the fact that a huge percentage of the airline's cost spectrum is domiciled in USD, while the revenue base is actually in Naira. So once you have a devaluation in the Naira, it directly affects the unit cost. But it's tough, but it's a necessary evil that the airlines have to in order to survive.
And then what sort of survival do you think would have for the airlines in this year? We've looked at reports from IATA and other agencies as well. Well, the forecast still leaves 2021 largely just that gradual recovery, if any at all. So any forecast of any sort of improvement, whether in terms of passenger demand, acquisitions, maintenance, and all of that, we can only hope things will get back to normal, say the year 2022. Do you also share in that forecast?
Well, yes, the story is different domestically. Right now, there is no single airline in Nigeria that is operating, if they are going to be honest, that is operating sub-economic flights, because as we know, Nigeria is challenged infrastructurally, roads, security. So the airlines are the only sure ways of getting to your destination safely. So the demand uptick in Nigeria is already here. Also, there is the issue of the supply side, with the airlines not having robust capacity to accommodate the demand. So we have already seen a resurgence in demand in the local aviation industry. Internationally, the story is different.
It's now time to re-strategize, especially for local airlines. We've already had this discussion prior to now, whether or not we would see a natural death as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the impact as well as the intervention we've seen from government, because it's not the best picture we are seeing now. But what sort of fleet size do you think we're going to see, the sort of aircraft to be acquired now? We would see airlines, we are seeing airlines making their orders now from Boeing and other plane makers. But as we speak now, cost-cutting measures is on the front burner. What sort of cost-efficient and sustainable means of air transport do you see in terms of size of aircraft?
We're already beginning to see a shift in the conventional airplane ordering system. We are seeing airlines move from the conventional single aisle wide bodies to compact regional right-sized aircraft to fit into the new demand structure of the market. Also, every airline is now looking to modernize its fleet. Modernization brings, of course, about reduction in cost, of course, optimizing cost as well. So we're now seeing airlines on their order books look at cost-efficient, right-sized, compact airplanes to fit the conventional routing structures.
Now, wrapping up our conversation, I would just like your thoughts now. Looking at the forecast that we've also seen, oil recovery is gradually picking up on the back of vaccine rollout and the deployment across the nations of the world. Do you see that also impacting the recovery pattern we'll likely see in the aviation sector, both locally and globally? And what sort of interface do you think we'll also see between different agencies, parastatals, and sector-by-sector interventions?
Well, yes, the complement has been multilateral. I mean, you've seen multilateral cooperation between all of the agencies geared towards ensuring that airlines are, supported during this COVID-19 pandemic. We've seen interventions not just from the Civil Aviation Authority. We've seen interventions from the Ministry of Finance. We've seen interventions from the Customs. Everybody's working together to see how we can, protect the airlines in this time of dire financial strain. As far as demand forecast is going, as far as growth forecast is going, like I said previously, if we match 2020 with 2021 year on year, we are definitely going to see some increase. We are also going to see a lot of improvement in business performance. Necessarily, you have to look away from 2019, which was the best operating year in aviation history. But matching year on year, 2020 and 2021, we are definitely going to see a lot of improvement pre-2019.
Well, we'll just keep our fingers crossed and hope that we see a stronger rollout of vaccines, and then we also see the aviation sector come back to pre-COVID-19 levels, because it's already taken a whole lot of hits and it's quite difficult to stay afloat. Thank you very much for your time on The Breakfast Show this morning. Chukwuemeka Achim, the Chief Executive Officer of Jet Support Services. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and thank you also for keeping afloat so far.